fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver. The Lone Ranger.
Returning from a trip to his hidden silver mine, the Lone Ranger, accompanied by Tonto, headed as usual for Border City, carrying a fresh supply of silver bullets and silver bars. In Border City, George Wilson, the masked man's secret banker, would convert the silver bars into cash for their simple, everyday expenses.
You'd better wait here with Silver and Scout.
Me wait, Kimisame.
Who is he, Mace?
I don't know, but he's wearing a mask. Maybe Wilson's hiring himself a gunslinger.
Yeah, it's a good thing the boss decided to have him watched.
Well, he'll need more than one man if he figures on standing up to the boss.
Come in. The Lone Ranger.
Hello, George. Sorry to disturb you at this late hour, but I've run out of money.
I've never been so glad to see anyone in my whole life. I was beginning to think you'd found yourself a new banker.
You know better than that?
I suppose the time did seem longer than usual because of all the trouble we've been having.
Trouble?
Yes. Sit down. Yes, you remember the last trip you made here? I told you about an Englishman by the name of Ashton.
The man who owns the cafe?
Yeah, the dirty crook just about owns the whole town, including the sheriff and the mayor. Now he's hoping to take over my bank.
I don't understand. How'd he manage that in such a short time?
He posed as a responsible citizen while he was building up a secret organization. Had most of his men elected to office. Now he uses them to distort the law whenever he wants to take over another business property.
When the people found out what he was up to, there must have been some effort to stop him.
There was, but Ashton imported thugs and gunslingers from all over the West. Men who opposed him were killed or they mysteriously disappeared. Others, especially men with families, moved away.
Ashton will want to know who that masked man is. Come on.
Do all that must have taken a lot of money.
Oh, Ashton had a lot of money. He was smuggling guns across the border. That's his real business.
Gun smuggling, eh?
Army supply trains were attacked, robbed, and massacred all over the West. The stolen guns and ammunition somehow found their way here to Ashton, and then across the border.
Are you sure about those facts, George?
Positive. But it would be pretty hard to prove it because most of the men who told me these things are dead.
What about the Army and the federal government? Haven't they done anything?
All federal investigators have tried to get some evidence against Ashton, but they failed. The Army has practically closed the border, but they can't patrol it much longer because the men are needed elsewhere.
If the border's closed and the raids on munition supply trains have continued, Ashton must be stockpiling the stolen guns, waiting for the Army to relax its border patrol.
Exactly. Lone Ranger, if you could find out where Ashton's hidden those guns, we'd have the evidence we need.
Put up hands.
Huh?
I said put up hands.
Who are you and what do you want?
Why you spy at window?
Why, that's part of our job, protecting Mr. Wilson.
You work for Mr. Wilson?
We sure do. Guarding this place for him. He's been having trouble, you know.
Ah.
Say, that masked man in there's a Lone Ranger. You must be his Injun pal. I'm Hank Johnson.
Get back.
What's the matter?
You say you work for Mr. Wilson. Maybe not. We go to house and find out. Come on.
Well, sure, Injun.
Are you hurt, Tonto?
Me all right.
What happened?
Me catch two men spying at window. Them say them work for you. But when me start to take them to house, them jump me.
Well, Pedro's the only one who works for me. They must have been some of Ashton's men. Lately, I've had a feeling I've been watched.
You say they were spying at the window?
I may not know what them here, but them know you, Lone Ranger.
You'd better go. When Ashton finds out you're here, he'll have his whole gang after you.
Perhaps I'll save him the trouble.
What do you mean?
I'll go see him.
It would be suicide to go to his place.
I'll reduce the risk by wearing a disguise. George, have you anything old I can borrow? Something Mexican.
Well, Pedro has some clothes in the house.
Good. Tonto, will you get your saddlebag? Come on, George. Let's see if Pedro's clothes fit me.
I must say, Pedro's Sunday clothes certainly look better on you than they ever did on him.
Yes, it is a good fit.
You not move, Kimasabi.
Now, that should be good enough, Tonto.
It will do.
Senores, allow I introduce Juan Ringo, bandido from Los Angeles.
It's amazing. Tonto, you've done a remarkable job.
Si, the best she is none too good for Juan Ringo.
Who is this Juan Ringo? Is there really such a person?
Indeed there is, George. Tonto, show Mr. Wilson that handbill. Juan Ringo was wanted in Los Angeles for murder. We caught him a couple of weeks ago and turned him over to the law. Now, if I can get Ashton to believe I'm dodging the law, he may take me into his gang. Once in his gang, I'll have a chance to find out where he's hidden the stolen guns and ammunition.
It's a perfect description, even to the scar on your cheek.
Yes, luckily it's a printed description with no photograph.
Here, gun belt, Kimisame.
Oh, say, you won't be able to take that into Ashton's. All guns are collected at the door.
Oh, that bad. Maybe someone see guns and silver bullet, then they know who you are.
You're right, Tonto.
I've got an old gun and belt that you can use.
Kimisame, if you join gang, how we keep in touch?
You come into town tomorrow morning and wait outside the cafe. Two of Ashton's men have already seen you, so you'd better disguise yourself.
That's a good idea.
Here you are.
Oh, thanks, George.
And you better take one of my horses. They might recognize yours.
You're right. Tonto, I know you'll take good care of Silver.
I may do that, Kimisame.
Buenas noches, senors. Juan Ringo, he go to paint the town.
I suspected Wilson might send for more federal agents or hire another investigator. But I never thought of the Lone Ranger. How'd you get in touch with him?
I don't know, boss, but he was there big as life.
This Lone Ranger's got himself quite a reputation. I wonder if he's as clever as people say.
A lot of men who wondered the same thing ended up hanging from a rope.
Crudely put, but essentially correct, Trip. It never pays to underestimate one's opponent.
What are you going to do about him?
If the man's such a genius, there's only one thing to do.
What's that?
He'll have to be killed.
Well, don't look at me, Mr. Ashton.
Me neither. Whoever does that hombre in will have every lawman in the West after him.
You afraid of him, Mace?
I'm not afraid of anybody, in or out of a mask. But I don't aim to spend the rest of my life hiding in South America.
Then I'm to understand that neither of you wish this...
What you mean I give you my pistole?
It's a house rule, mister. Customers have to leave their guns at the door.
I never heard such foolishness. Those hombres over there, they have pistoles.
They work for Mr. Ashton.
Huh? Who is this Mr. Ashton?
Well, he owns this cafe. Now, please, if you'll check your gun, sir, I'll be glad to serve you.
I don't like the idea, but I have no time for arguments.
Thanks.
Bueno. Now you bring food, lots of food. I am hungry enough to eat the horns of a buffalo. You go.
Who is that fellow?
I never saw him before.
I'm sorry, sir, but you can't sit here.
Caramba, little catfishes. Por que no?
Well, Mr. Ashton doesn't like for one man to hold down such a big table.
Well, if Senor Ashton want me to move from this table, you tell him to move me himself.
Oh, I couldn't do that, sir.
Bueno. And stop talk. Bring food.
Well, the way he's acting, you'd think he owns the place.
Mr. Ashton, that gent insists on...
Yeah, I heard it, Sam. I'll handle it.
Thank you, Mr. Ashton.
Bring him over here. I'd like to talk to him.
All right.
These tortillas tied in little knots. They look funny, but they taste good. Bring more.
I'm not a waiter.
Huh? Why you stand here?
Mr. Ashton wants to talk to you.
If Senor Ashton want to talk to me, you tell him to come here.
He wants you to come to see him.
Compadre, maybe your ear's not here so good. I say I stay here.
And I say you're coming with me.
Senor, I do not like to be grabbed.
Then do as you're told.
Also, I do not like the tone of your voice.
I'll break you half in two.
I'll get him.
Leave him alone. I'm rather enjoying this. Sorry about this little misunderstanding, senor. My name's Ashton.
Senor Ashton. Next time you wish to talk to me, you not send muscle-bound grizzly bear to break up furniture.
The furniture can be replaced. So can the muscle-bound grizzly. Mace, take him into the back room and have Sam clean up this mess.
Right away, boss.
I'd like a word with you, senor.
Words will not fill an empty stomach. First, I will eat.
I'll have food brought to my office, if you will be my guest.
Bueno, senor. Where I eat makes no matter.
The waiter will bring your dinner in a moment.
Gracias.
Sit down.
Bueno.
Are you as skillful with a gun as you are with your fists, Mr. Ringo?
Ringo?
You dropped this while you were fighting.
Why, you...
Take it easy, Ringo. You haven't got a gun.
If you think to take me to the sheriff,
I know you're wanted for murder, but I'm not going to turn you in.
No?
Why did you come to Border City?
It is on the way to the border, senor.
You'll never get across the border here.
¿Por qué no?
Because this whole section is heavily patrolled by the army and government agents looking for gun runners. But if you'll do me a favor, I'll guarantee to get you safely into Mexico.
What kind of a favor?
I want 2 men killed.
Why you come to me, Ringo? You have your own gunslingers.
My friends will need alibis. And besides, these men are so important that whoever kills them will have to stay out of the States for good.
Who are these men of such importance?
A banker named George Wilson and the Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger?
Yes. Will you do it?
I have no quarrel with this Lone Ranger.
You want to get out of the country, don't you?
The borders are guarded by soldados. How you get me past them?
I'll hide you till the army relaxes its patrols.
I can hide myself. Why should I kill 2 men for this?
I know a hideaway where no one in this world would find you.
Where is this place?
I'll show you later.
No, I do not like the idea.
You better learn to like it, Ringo. The sheriff is a friend of mine.
So that is the way, eh? All right, Senor Ashton. When you want these men killed?
Tomorrow night. I'll invite my friends to spend the evening here. The off-duty soldiers among my customers here will be able to swear that neither I nor any of my friends were away from the cafe during the killing.
You are a plenty smart hombre, Senor Ashton.
Thank you. Until I need you, you'll remain in seclusion at my hotel across the street.
Seclusion? What is this seclusion?
You'll be out of sight by yourself. I'll see that you're not disturbed.
Bueno.
Bueno. By tomorrow night, Mr. Wilson will be out of the way, and the Lone Ranger will be just an unpleasant memory.
The masked man spent the night in Ashton's hotel, and the following morning he was waiting for Tonto to appear outside the cafe across the street.
What do you want?
I am no chicken to be kept in the coop. I go for a walk.
You've got orders to stay in your room. And I'm here to see that nobody bothers you. The boss don't want anybody to see you. So?
So you have a pistola? I have none. I do like you say.
Indian?
Me just sit here.
Sam, see that everyone's got what he wants.
Yes, sir.
It's all on the house.
It's all set, boss.
Will you forgive me a moment, sir? Play for me, Trip. I'll be right back. Good evening, Ringo.
Buenas noches.
Have you studied that map of the Wilson place I sent you?
I know it like the back of my hand.
You know exactly where you're to go and what you're to do.
Si, senor. But how you know this Lone Ranger, he be there?
If his horse is still in the barn, he's there. If not, you wait. It's a big white stallion. It was there an hour ago when Sig checked.
Bueno.
Mace, give him his gun. Your horse is waiting outside. Since I must be with my guest as much as possible, I've timed everything very carefully. You must be back here in 25 minutes.
See, when you take me to this hideout?
As soon as you return, it's not far from here. All set?
I'm ready.
And you go on. Be back here at 9:45 exactly.
Si, senor.
Ed, it's going to be risky letting that hombre hang around you after he's killed Wilson and the Lone Ranger.
He's not going to hang around.
But you said you were going to hide him.
As soon as you get him in the hideout, you're going to kill him. Then we'll hide him 6 feet under the ground. Shall we join our guests? They'll substantiate our alibi.
Commissary.
Yes, Tom.
It's about time you showed up. We were getting worried. Well, this is John Maloney, federal investigator. How do you do, sir?
How do you do? I'm glad George was able to reach you.
Wilson showed me the note you threw to Tonto. I hope we can get Ashton this time.
I don't have any evidence yet, but when I get back to the cafe, he's taking me to his hideout. If the guns are there, we'll have our case.
Kimasabi, you take plenty big chance. Suppose Ashton double-cross you.
I don't think he'll try anything at the cafe. When I leave for the hideout, you'll be following close behind me, Tonto.
If you don't start for the hideout within 10 minutes after you've reported to Ashton, we'll break in.
I think I can panic them into taking me to the hideout at once. Before I return, I'll fire a couple of shots. Then I can truthfully tell Ashton that I ran into trouble.
Hmm. 10 minutes to 10. Will you excuse me a moment, sir? What's keeping him? He's 5 minutes late already.
Something must have happened. Hasn't he showed up yet?
No, and I'm beginning to think...
It's Ringo.
Senor, take me to the hideout muy pronto.
What's the matter?
Everything should go wrong. What? Yes, I find Wilson and the Lone Ranger, like you say. I fire only one shot, and right away, federales everywhere.
Federal agents?
Si, senor. I cannot fight them all, so I run.
You think they followed you?
No, I am well ahead of them.
We gotta get them out of here.
Yes. Give me your gun.
No, senor. I am much need of this gun.
To argue with me, you blundering idiot? Give it to me.
You promise to take Ringo to hideout?
Of course, right away. Now, come on.
Si, senor, si.
Open up.
What is this?
Those stairs lead to the mine shaft we use as a hideout.
I do not like this. I like to hide more in the open.
It's soundproof and perfectly safe. Mace and Trip will go with you. Now, hurry.
Senor, all my life, I do not like mines or tunnels. I do not wish
Shut up and get going.
Si, senor.
Take good care of him, boys.
Don't worry.
Why for all the boxes?
Never mind the questions.
Ammunition. Guns.
That's right, you stupid lunkhead. Now that you know.
What is the meaning of this?
Where, Kimasabi?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where's the man who came in here a few minutes ago?
Nobody's been in here. I grew tired of the noise in the cafe, so I came...
You're lying, Ashton.
Wilson, I'm getting sick of your false accusations. Unless you've got a search warrant, I'll ask you to leave immediately.
I have a warrant, all right.
Him not in cafe.
If he'd gone out the front door, the men I have posted outside would have seen him.
What do you do with my friend?
The answer is very simple. Whoever you're looking for never came here.
That's not true.
If you prefer to believe he vanished in a puff of smoke, that's your privilege. Well, gentlemen, if you're through making fools of yourselves, I have guests to attend to.
You stay here. Me make you tell what you do to Kimasabi.
Mr. Maloney, will you have this savage take his hands off me, or will I report you to higher authority?
Oh, it's no use, Tonto. He's outsmarted us again.
But where Kimasabi? Me not leave without him.
As I've said before, your friend Kimo, whatever it is, never
That
said...
bookcase, it's moving.
Kimasabi!
Yes, Tonto. It's a good thing you insisted I bring back an extra gun with me.
Your accent, what's happened to it?
You'll have plenty of time to think about that in prison. In the secret room below this one, you'll find the stolen guns and ammunition, along with papers and records that should convict the whole gang.
You tricked me. You're not Ringo. Who are you?
That's right, Ashton. He's the...
Just a moment. Let him figure it out for himself. Come on, Tonto.
Tell the men outside to raid the place and arrest the entire bunch. Right. Thanks to you, one of the most vicious gangs in the West has been put out of business.
If it hadn't been for George's courage in opposing action in the very beginning, our job would have been a lot more difficult.
Now, don't try to pin any credit on me. I'm just a small-town banker.
You know better than that.
Anyway, here's the money in exchange for the silver you brought me.
Thanks, George. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adios.
There goes one of the most remarkable men the world has ever known.
Do you have any idea who he really is?
No, and I don't think that's important. It's enough to know that he's the Lone Ranger.